Now I'm just going this video in a recording mode, and I'm just going to open what we have prepared in this lecture. So this is very important from the point of view of both the papers. Okay, so this is why we have decided to devote a separate lecture for these two topics. Okay, actually this is a one topic. This is only the part of these two are names or part of some approaches to research. Okay, so what we have done, we have simply assigned this complete day for this topic because that topic was included newly after 2019 June syllabus. Okay, and this line has specifically been added to our syllabus of a paper one under the head research aptitude. Under the head research aptitude that has been added. Okay, and but we have experienced that even when this was not added, number of times the questions from positivism and post-positivism was asked. Only two lines are important to understand. Two lines. All the concepts shall be clear to you. I'm certainly sure. If you listen me carefully, you will not need to go through from each and everything in a very detailed manner. Okay, just one or two readings would suffice. So this is important not only from paper one point of view. Every day I'm saying this. The reason is for all the syllabuses of different streams for paper two. Gurusar Education is taking the classes and the paper one classes are also going on. So for paper one, this is a research aptitude subject that is going on, and for all the paper second, there is a separate subject named research, and these two are going simultaneously. That's why nowadays I am on daily basis saying that what we are going to do now, this is relevant for not only first paper but for second paper as well. Okay, so whatever streams you belong to, you have to understand this as well. So this is the word positivism and post-positivism. Two words are there. Only two words are there. Okay. And what are these? These are major approaches to research. Approaches to research. Okay. These are approaches to research. So now, if you remember, we have gone through from some teaching approaches and concepts. If you remember, we have gone through from educational approaches and concepts. We have done all these things. Okay, now this is the turn of major approaches for a research. Okay, so a research is not a new topic. Okay, this is not a new topic. Researches are being conducted from the time since very past, like for past 300 or 400 years, when the concepts of normal distribution that I have taught in both the classes for paper as well. Whenever the mathematics originated, from that time, the research is there. Researches are being conducted continuously for different fields. Okay, and if something is of very old nature, then certainly there are number of schools of thought for that specific thing. Okay, in the same way, there are two schools of thoughts for research. Okay, for a research, there are two schools of thought, and they tell you how the research should be conducted and what is the relationship between the research topic and researcher. Research topic and researcher. I'm giving you my example, only one example would be suffice. What is the relationship between my topic? My topic is a derivative, okay? And this is the term used for denoting the Indian derivative market. derivative and share markets or Indian financial market, and here is me or myself. What is the relationship between my topic and me? For explaining this relationship, there are two schools of thought as per the philosophies of research. So what are these two schools of thoughts? The first one is positivism and the second one is post-positivism. And the post-positivism is very old philosophy and it's still persisting. Okay, this philosophy is very old philosophy since the time the first research originated. From that time, positivism theory is there. This approach is there. And post-positivism is very contemporary theory. This is contemporary theory. That means this is a very new theory, which is not of that old period. Okay, just for past 30 to 50 years. This theory is that much old only. Okay, but the positivism is highly old theory. Since the time when the first research was conducted, this theory approach was there. So what I have taught you till now, I have taught you to explain the relationship between the topic or the research question and the researcher. There are two schools of thought. Topic means any topic of research. Like for me, this is finance or derivative market, and here is me or myself, my thinking. I have to do research. What is the relationship between us? For explaining this relationship, like we have done in a teaching aptitude, where I taught you about idealism, then naturalism, then I taught you about existentialism. So that defined what is the relationship between the teacher and what the method should be there. Okay, in the same way, in case of research, there are two schools of thought which are major. Okay, the first school of thought is positivism, and the second is first is positivism, second post-positivism, which explain the relationship between the research question and the researcher. So this is all. If you have understood till now, then upcoming slides are going to be very easy for you. So now I'm just going to show you what we have prepared. This is the positivism approach. Okay, the first approach. Okay, before reading all this, I'm going to explain you that first line. Okay, in the very beginning, I told you only two lines spoken by me would be very relevant. Only two lines, and now I am going to use the first line. Okay, so this is about positivism approach, and what is this? This approach says that only facts are true. Only facts are true. Only facts are true. I have told you, or I have spoken this line for 3 times by now. You have to understand that. Okay. Only facts are true. What does it mean? It means that your research question or your research topic is of great value, and you cannot go beyond that. Your own knowledge, this is me, myself, and this is my research topic, my question, my knowledge, my experience, okay, my values, my ethics, or anything, these are of no use. Only a research topic, only your research topic, whatever the facts you come across during your research, only those facts are true. You cannot mold your research topic as per your knowledge, as per your experience, as per your values. So this is the only thing about positivism. I'm again repeating all the things. This says that your research question cannot be affected by whatever the knowledge, whatever the experience, whatever the values you are holding. That cannot be effective. This can be affected by only the facts you are coming across during your research. And this is the crux of positivism, and that's all. So I hope you would have understood now. Understanding and going through the lines of positivism approach are Very easy. Okay, the first, the historical perspective of positivism relates to French philosopher Auguste Comte, who named the systematized science of sociology. So this was the first line which told you who propounded the positivism. It then developed through several stages known by various names like empirio-criticism or logical positivism or logical empiricism, and finally in the mid 20th century flowed into movement known as analytical and linguistic philosophy. So this was the historical perspective about the approach or philosophy of positivism. I'm again and again telling you, you cannot mold your research question as per your knowledge. You can go or you can mold your research only on the basis of facts you are coming across during your research. So it focuses that facts are always true. This is the line. As a philosophy, positivism adheres to the view that only factual knowledge gained through observation, the senses, including measurement, is trustworthy. Again, I am reading this line. Understand this. As a philosophy, positivism adheres to the view that only factual knowledge gained through observation, these are your senses, including measurement, is trustworthy and nothing else. Your own knowledge, your own experience is of no use in case of positivism philosophy. So this studies the role of researcher is limited to data collection and interpretation only. So in case of positivism philosophy, your role as a researcher, like this is my topic, this is finance, and this is me, this is a researcher. Okay, my role is limited to collection of data and interpretation of this. Okay, so that's all I can do about my topic. Okay, I cannot make my experiences, or I cannot change anything related to the research question. Then this depends on quantifiable observations that leads to statistical analysis. In positivism, only the quantitative data is used. It has been noted that as a philosophy, positivism is in accordance with the empiricist view that knowledge stems from human experience, experience of only the facts you are coming across during your research. Okay, facts like I'm giving you example now. Again, this is my topic and this is myself, and I am getting number of time series data. Like there is a company named Yes Bank, or today the IPO was launched for Zomato. Okay, so I can take their data series only. I can take their data series, and these are facts for me. And this is my experience only. Only this is my experience. So I am getting that their data series. I cannot change their data series as per my choice. What I can do is I can take these data series for further research or for statistical analysis. This is all about positives. So that relates to the viewpoint that the researcher need to be concentrate on facts only. So there are 5 main principles of positivisms we have to understand. What are these? These are, there are no difference in logic of inquiry. Okay, you have to find facts on the basis of logic. Okay, this was the first principle. The second, the research should aim to explain and predict only. And in this kind of research, you can only explain the things and you can only predict about the future using different tools like regression analysis or panel regression, or any kind of statistical tool like z-test, t-test, chi-square test, f-test, or anything else. Then research should empirically via human senses. Okay, what you sense regarding a data, what you sense regarding the data, that should be observed only. Okay, only this thing should be observed. Then science is, this line is just very common. Science is not the same as common sense. The common sense should not be allowed to bias the research finding. This simply is saying that if you are thinking about some data series, that these should be molded to serve the purpose of my studies, then this is a bias, and bias should not be there. Your common sense should not be allowed to bias the research findings. Okay, then science must be value free and it should be judged only by logic. Only logic is there. What is the research question or the research topic? This is of a great value only. Only this is having the values, only this is having the knowledge, only this is having the experience needed for further research. And your job is limited to only these factors. The first is the data collection and the second is interpretation. And most importantly, positivism take into consideration only quantitative data. Very important line. That shall become the difference between positivism and post-positivism. I hope you would have got the great kind of conceptual understanding regarding positivism. And now we have to move further to post-positivism. Okay. Again, at the time of starting of this lecture, I told you that I shall be telling two lines which are very important to understand, which can make all your concept regarding positivism and post-positivism clear. And let me tell you, let me make clear your mind. Students search a lot regarding these two topics, and very limited kind of data is available on Google searches. And even if this available, then its terminology, its vocabulary is of very high level that is not, cannot be understand easily, because they take the data directly from research papers, and it's not possible and viable for us for going through from all the research papers. Okay, only one question is expected. Okay, only one question, and still its probability is 50%, but we have to go through one line. I have already told you regarding positivism. In a positivism, I told you that only facts are true. Only facts are true, and you cannot mold your research question on the basis of your own knowledge, and you can only use what the facts are available to you during your research. Only these can be used. You cannot apply your mind. Your job is limited to collection of the data and interpreting. Now the second line I'm going to use regarding post-positivism. This is going to be second line. This is completely adverse to what we have talked about in the first line. This says only facts are not true. A researcher has to apply his own experience, his own knowledge, okay, his own knowledge and his own values, whatever he has learned, his own teaching, his own learning. You have to apply each and everything for finding a true conclusion about your study. Okay, so this is post-positivism. Now you would have understood the complete crux of today's lecture. First positivism, then post-positivism. Post-positivism says that whatever you are coming across during your research, these are your facts and these are not always true. Okay, you have to make these true. How? You have to apply your own experience, your own knowledge, your own value, your own teaching, learning, anything, so that you can make the conclusion of your research viable. Now we move further. This is about post-positivism. Okay, and this is a contemporary paradigm. Okay, I told you that this is not very old approach or philosophy to research. Only 30 to 50 years have gone. Now researches are being conducted on this topic as well. Okay, that developed as a result of a criticism of a positivism. Like positivism, positivists also believe in the existence of a single reality. However, they acknowledge that reality or fact can never be fully known. They can never be fully known, and efforts to understand reality are very limited, owing to human beings sensory and intellectual limitations. So this line is simply saying that full facts or full figures regarding a specific research topic can never be known completely. Why? Because our sensories or intellectual limitations are there. So we have to apply, we have to use our knowledge or experience for further acknowledging the research question. So this is also known as post-empiricism. This is a meta-theoretical stance that critiques and amends positivism, while positivists emphasize independence between a researcher and a researched person or the object. Post-positivist argues that theories, hypotheses, background knowledge, values of a researcher can influence what is observed. So this is the crux of post-positivism. It says that you can mold it. Like I told you that only quantitative studies are done in post-positivism, but in post-positivism, both quantitative and qualitative studies are there. So if in the complete class, after 1 month, if I am researching about your performance, if I am asking you whether you have got motivated for further study or not, okay, this will be the qualitative kind of research, and I can mold this as per my choice. I can put you any question. Okay, I can ask you anything. I can ask you about your hours of study. I can ask you about your system of study. I can ask you about your timetable. I can ask you when do you study, when you get time, when you are free. I can ask any question. I can mold my research question as per my choice. This is post positivism, because I am making my efforts as well, so that all the theories, hypotheses, or background knowledge and values can be used for further researching the research question. So while positivists emphasize quantitative methods, positivists consider both quantitative and qualitative methods. So in the research, there are many sources of knowledge. Okay, now you have got complete knowledge and information regarding positivism and post-positivism. Post-positivism. Now you have understood about these two facts or these two philosophies of research. Now the topic is, how do you get knowledge? How do you get knowledge and information? Knowledge and information. Okay. Now I am talking about the knowledge which is used in post positivism only. Okay, because in positivism only, there is none kind of influence of the researcher on the research question. So the researcher can influence the research question only in post positivism. And how can he influence? He can influence on the basis of his knowledge. And how do he get the knowledge? These are known as sources of knowledge. So we have to understand about sources of knowledge, and these are divided into four major categories only. First is intuitive knowledge. That is based on your intuition. Sometimes you get intuition. Sometimes you feel that something is going to happen. Okay, your sixth sense is at work sometime. This is your intuition. This is your gut feeling. Okay, about something. Okay, sometimes just while seeing in the eyes of the student, we can know that what is there in his mind. This is completely intuition or intuition. So this is intuition, faith, and belief. This is the first source of getting knowledge about any research question. Okay. Okay, human feelings play greater role in intuitive knowledge compared to reliance on facts. So this is first, how do you get knowledge? Then authoritarian knowledge. You can get the knowledge from books, research papers, expert or supreme powers. Okay, supreme powers. Again, you can meditate or anything. So this kind of knowledge is known as authoritarian knowledge. Third one is logical knowledge. You grow slowly. Okay, first the first stage in the human being is a child. Okay, so he grows slowly. Okay, till the old age. Okay, and along with this growth, you get very logical about certain things. Okay, your logical thinking is enhanced. The level of your logical thinking is enhanced day by day. Okay, what you thought at the age of 15 years, this is a joke for you now. Okay, now you can imagine that what you thought of becoming at the age of 15 years, that was completely illogical and irrelevant. So this is known as logical knowledge. You can get the knowledge and information of anything by applying logical reasoning. This is known as logical knowledge. Then empirical knowledge, you can learn from your experiences of yourself or experience of others, and this is known as empirical knowledge. Okay, so this is the complete system. These are the complete four types of knowledge which are relevant from the point of view of post positivism. Now before moving further, I would like to tell you the topic of positivism and post positivism is already over by now, but now still we have written something. The reason being, there are some more burning terminologies. Sometimes on the safer side, we have to go through from these terminologies. Only 2 or 3 lines are there for every terminology. Okay, so if they ask you about a specific word, you must know at the time of examination. This is the reason why I have written some more terms related to approaches of modern research. And what is the approach to modern research? This is post-positivism. As usual, I have already explained it. So the first terminology is axiology. What is this? Okay, axiology. This is just an assessment of the role of researchers on value on all stages of research process. Okay, so this is a research topic. This is me. How much I am contributing of my values to my research. Okay, again listen me carefully. How much I am contributing of my values, my knowledge to my research question. This is known as axiology. So axiology means assessment of role of researchers on value on all stages of research process. This is axiology. The second, this is phenomenology. Okay, this is phenomenology. Okay, what is this? That means considering your own experiences, your events, your occurrences, okay, with disregard or minimum regard to external or physical reality. This only means, let me make it clear to you. Again, listen to me carefully. This is giving more importance to your experiences, your events, your knowledge, your occurrences, giving more importance to these rather than giving more importance to facts of the situation. This is called phenomenology. Okay, and that directly relates with post positivism. This was the crux of this specific terminology. So axiology I have taught you, phenomenology I have taught you, then this is epistemology. So this is, what does this says? That deals with all the sources of knowledge which we have already gone through. Okay, this deals with, if we study all the sources of knowledge, then their study is known as epistemology. So this is the study of sources of knowledge regarding the specific research question. Then this is the next one, that is pragmatism research philosophy. Okay, pragmatism research philosophy. What does this mean? Giving you example, after that you can understand this easily. Thinking a specific research question. Thinking a specific research question or a research type from different point of views is known as pragmatism. So this is very simple. Thinking a research question from different point of view, not sticking to one only. So what's there? Recognize that there are many different ways of interpreting the world and undertaking research. There is no single point of view can ever give the entire picture, and that there may be multiple realities. So this says that when you are thinking a specific research question from different point of views or multiple realities, this is known as pragmatism research philosophy. Then this is ontology. Okay, this is ontology. Okay, what does that deals with? This is ontology is a system of a belief that reflects an interpretation by an individual about what constitutes a fact. Now again, one example, then this shall be clear. What is this? What I think about my research, what I think about my research topic or question, what I think about that, this is known as ontology. Again, now reading this shall become very easy for you. Ontology is a system of belief that reflects an interpretation by an individual about what constitutes a fact. So what I think about my research topic, what I comprehend, what I understand about my research topic is known as ontology. Then this is realism. Okay, this is a realism research philosophy. This is the last terminology, I think. So that relies on the independence, on the idea of independence of reality from the human mind. Okay, so this says that human mind is always different from what reality of the situation is. Okay, this is always different. This is of two type, direct and critical. Direct says what you see is what you get. That means what you are seeing, that you are getting. What you see, you understand that. So this is a direct realism. Okay, again, I'm telling you, this philosophy or realism philosophy says the human thinking is different and reality is always different. And this is of two types. The first is the direct realism, which says what you see is what you get. What you think, what you see about something, you just comprehend by just one or two gazings. The last one is critical realism research philosophies. This simply says that what you see is not right. What you see is not right. Reality can be very different, and you have to understand from different point of views. This says sensation and images of real world can be deceptive. Deceptive means that cannot be right, that cannot be true, and usually they do not portray the real world. So this is about a critical realism philosophy. Okay, so I hope I was able to make you clear regarding these two approaches. Okay, so again, I am telling you that these topics are very relevant for both the papers. Nowadays, I am telling this again and again. The only reason is we are going with paper 1 and paper 2 research subject simultaneously. So what is relevant for this is relevant for that as well. Okay, that our experience is. So in this video I was able to make you clear regarding all the concepts regarding positivism and post positivism. Still, uh, for the better understanding, I shall deliver the recorded version of this video to all, and it's written complete notes material as well, so that your study can become easy. So if the next lecture is taken, then we shall be informing you within 15 minutes. Otherwise that shall be taken tomorrow, and that will be intimated to you in the WhatsApp. Okay, we are already having advanced lectures for research subject. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Gurpal Singh from Research Education.